If not,
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there's some noise going on, but we can hear you.
so. Okay, President English,
Okay.
would
We
you?
have a quorum.
Yes, we do. Did you want me to list off? This is Danielle from Hart. Did you want me to list off the attendance of who I have on the phone, or are you okay with? We already did it while you were working through your issues.
Hello,
You
it's
are-
Pat Kemp.
You are echoing. Okay. Okay.
Mike?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
Mike,
you.
that's
Yeah,
All right.
sounds like you were abducted by aliens.
Yeah, I think okay, so,
Don't tell
okay.
me
Hello?
we're all being abducted by aliens.
That's right, we are. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm not gonna use the WebEx on my computer because I can't get it to mute, so I'm just gonna be on the phone, all right? And so someone else will need to look at I even have the agenda, okay. If everybody's here, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. We will skip the Pledge of Allegiance. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Dr. Hart,
So
motion
moved.
to approve the minutes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Is there anyone on the line from the public who would like to be heard? Hearing none, we'll move on. Election of officers, I don't know if we want to get into that this month. Why don't we defer that and have the discussion next month?
Motion to reschedule election of officers for next month?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed say aye. Opposed say nay. Good. Streetcar system report. Mr. Allen, do you have anything you need to tell us?
Just briefly, this is Brian Allen, Director of Streetcar Operations.
Speak up.
Is this better?
Speak.
Yes.
Okay.
We need more volume.
Okay. For February, ridership was 89,579, up from 73,086 from the year before. We did 24.9 hours of extra service for 3 charters and 5 hockey games. We had the accident, which we reported at the last meeting, where the charter bus had hit one of the streetcars. That motorman has returned to work, and we're still working with the insurance company on the repairs of the car. And the only other thing that happened that month was that we had a trolley pole come off the wire by York Street and disabled the car, so it had to be towed back. Between that and the accident on February 3rd, we had 68.5 missed trips, but our on-time performance was still 99.9.
That's great.
How many missed trips?
68.5.
Why so many? I mean, is that unusual, or I think that seems high?
It is very high. Typically, well, the two accidents, or the accident and the incidents, were 40 of those missed trips. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, when we had the accident with the charter bus, we had no service between Dick Greco and Whiting for almost 4 hours. Well, we cleared everything up, so that's the bulk of it. And other than that, 428 went to Gamaico, or we ready 428 for, shipment to Gamaico in February, and it actually left March 5th, so. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, Brian, Dave Mechanic.
Yeah.
You said you're working with the insurance company. I assume that's insurance for the coach company?
That's correct.
Yes.
Are they giving you any difficulty about liability? Or, I mean, I just want to know whether legal people are involved and if there's any dispute, or is this going the way it should, which is that they would acknowledge their responsibility?
There's no dispute, and they've been very accommodating for us. The issue is mostly the fact that it's a streetcar, and this doesn't happen very often, and they're trying to get, they've been back and forth with Gamaico to get quotes on the repair work and things like that. It's just kind of out of the ordinary for them.
Okay, this is Carol. I'm sorry, this is Carol, and I have joined the call now. Thank you. Yes, risk is on top of this, and there is no dispute, and it's just a matter of us getting the numbers together internally as to what the damages are.
Carolyn, at some point you said the car may have been totaled. Is that still your assessment, or no?
Okay, that's why the car is going to be looked at to see what it is, but that was just our initial, and nothing has changed at this time, so we don't know. We're still in the process, and that's what Brian's talked about, of assessing the real damages to the car. And rather than having just the regular people look at it, we have people who specialize in this look at it.
Sure. Okay, that's all I had.
Any other questions?
Can I be heard?
Who is this?
Commissioner Pat Kemp, I just wanted to know if
Sure.
my audio was coming through.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yes. Glad to have you here, Pat.
Uh-huh.
Or glad to have you somewhere. I'm not. Okay, Chair's report. I have nothing to report this month. Ms. Stewart, do you have a report? How are things at Hart?
Okay, things are fine at Hart. We'll continue to monitor our ridership as well as our absenteeisms and business closures. And so my report is attached, and it talks about the naming of the streetcar the Hart Board passed at. I'm not taking away any steam from Mr. Mechanic on that one. And streetcar service, Ruthie, you on the line? Okay, Ruthie was on the line regarding streetcar service. Basically, streetcar service is still running. We're at 4 cars. Ruthie?
Ma'am, I'm here.
Can you give them the update on streetcar that we talked about? Streetcar service plan?
Yes, ma'am. So this is Ruthie Rancher, our regional deputy chief of transportation. As a staff, we've come back with some recommendations based on the changes within our community that have closed the bars and clubs, which affects a lot of the businesses along the corridor of the streetcar, although restaurants, and other businesses are still open. That in mind, we will be running.
I'm sorry, but we're having a hard time hearing you. Are you close to the mic? You're kind of garbled.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Oh, good. Okay, so with regard to our service levels, we're taking into consideration the closures along the streetcar line. With that said, we are continuing to run our 15-minute frequency. Our regular Monday to Thursday schedule will remain because we do residents that are going to work and use our morning service starting at 7 a.m. On Friday, effective Friday, we will change to that Thursday schedule on Friday. Fridays, normally we would run till 1:30 in the morning. We would end at 11 p.m., just like we do Monday to Thursday. Saturday, we'll assume the Sunday schedule because that brings us in by 11 p.m. So we would run from 8:30 to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and Sundays is regular schedule, 8:30 to 11 p.m. So only 2 days of the week are affected by a change in our schedule, but it does reduce our hours and has our vehicles coming back into the barn by 11 p.m. Though we are doing that, we are still monitoring the ridership so that if we see a more serious decline in ridership or none at all, we may look to doing a more reduced service where we go to a 20-minute frequency or 30-minute frequency or even hourly. But at this point, we haven't seen any operator shortages that is taking us or giving us an indication that we need to do that. We are strictly modifying our hours on Friday and Saturday night in order to accommodate the changes in the service retailers along the line that are now closed. That's the end of my discussion.
Thank you, Ruthie. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. David Smoker, legal report.
I have nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Action items. The first is Resolution R2020-0301, accepting the final audited Tampa Historic Streetcar financial statements. Lee, are you on the phone or someone from the city?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Anything you'd like to say about this?
I'll try to make it brief, sir. Thank you for entertaining us today. I have on the line also Jeff Seichner. He's a partner in charge of this engagement from RSM, our auditors.
Okay.
If you read the financial statements, you'll see you had a good year. The net position, which is your bottom line, is actually up $147,000 or 20%, so that's good. Ridership was strong, went from 300,000 riders to 850,000 riders, so it's up. You know, this was the first year, fiscal year 19, of the free ridership, and we actually got $890,000 to cover the costs from FDOT. So all in all, it's a good year. Advertising was up as well. So the financial statements themselves are good. I will draw your attention, though, to one item in the back on page 18. There was a finding in this year's audit. We recorded the public's naming rights for 1 year. We recorded the whole amount of $30,000, and we should have amortized it over the 2 months in fiscal year 19 and the rest in fiscal year 20. And so that was an error that we caught, but I passed on it because I thought it was immaterial. But to the auditors, it was a significant deficiency, and Jeff can speak to that if you need him to. But other than that, I would like you to entertain a motion to accept these financial statements for the streetcar board, please.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please, and a second?
So moved. Second. Commissioner Ken?
Abby Ahern.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
I'm reading this amendment. Oh, okay. The next one has to do with funding for CSX, and I don't see a resolution number, but I assume we need a motion to approve this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Both the
Okay.
city and the streetcar board.
Yes,
Okay, good.
and I'm President English. I'm on the line if you'd like me to present that background. This is Cindy Stiglich.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead, Cindy?
Okay, so this is Resolution R2020-03-02, approval of a budget amendment to increase the FY20 THS corporate budget by $384,000. For slight background, again, back in February, the GCM insurance rep presented kind of a dire situation with the current marketplace in insuring rail systems. And we were told that the price of the insurance would almost double from $345,000 to $726,500. And we, at that time, were looking at options between us and the city as to how to best fund that, at least this year, based on none of us knowing that these market conditions would create this kind of an increase. So in conjunction with the city, we determined, and Lee just presented a good net position in the FY19 financials, that there was sufficient reserves to accommodate this increase for this particular year. So we have a budget resolution in front of you, or budget amendment in front of you, increasing both the CSX insurance as well as the general liability insurance, which also slightly increased by about $2,500 for a total resolution of $384,000 coming from the general reserves in that City of Tampa THS financials. This does not affect the amount of HART's budget, so I am not presenting a corresponding budget amendment to the HART board, because the contribution to HART, as well as the expenses that we will realize in the HART budget, will not change. This is only affecting the corporate budget. So with that, I would ask for any other questions, or that you approve resolution R 2020-0302.
Dave Mechanic, I have a question. And Cindy, I don't know if this is for you or our insurance agent, but were we not able to get any reduction from the original quote? And I guess I have a follow-up question after that.
Director Mechanic, I have not been in contact with them, so I would have to defer to Lee on that.
Or David.
Or David, yes, on whether or not there was any other attempt to negotiate that down.
This is Dave Smolter. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Dave.
Okay. Dave Smolter here. My understanding is that our agent did go back after our last meeting and attempt to negotiate, that he did negotiate, but that there was really no meaningful reduction in the quote.
Yeah, let me add that I interacted with Grant as well and signed all the forms. He was very, very apologetic. He kept his fee, by the way, to the $30,000 it has been since we've been working with him. He actually could have claimed almost a $70,000 fee, and he did not do that. His company did not do that. I might also add that if there's another catastrophic train accident, we could have no one willing to insure the streetcar next year, which is a whole other problem. The other likelihood, or at least something I would like Cindy and Lee, and perhaps David, you can talk to Grant about this. Do we have sufficient resources if the premium does not go down for next year? Is this something we should be mindful of?
Agreed.
Okay. So I'd like a motion, please, to approve that amendment.
I didn't hear the answer to that question.
What was the
What's
question?
going to happen next year? Well,
we
what
don't,
you just said.
Well, we don't know the answer to that question, and he doesn't either. I'm concerned that it's going to be at least just as high, and so we should at least be mindful of the fact that we may need to pay that same kind of premium next year. Given what's going on with the coronavirus, I just have no idea what kind of disruption there will be, that will occur in that industry, not to mention everything else around us. So please be mindful, do a little research, somebody talk to Grant, and look at our budget and our reserves and realize that we may need that same amount of extra money next year.
I'm going to move, this is Commissioner Kemp, I'm going to move the item, but I haven't been involved with the board here, so and maybe this isn't a good time for an explanation at all, but have we pursued getting the state of Florida, or have a history of getting the state of Florida to cover this as they do in Miami and for Tri-Rail and Sunrail?
The answer is, in the past, yes, we did try and were turned down. Carolyn Stewart has some concerns about that because of the self-insurance position of Hart and the city, and whether if the state picked it up, it would create a problem for us. I think that we should definitely, and Ms. Stewart and I have talked about this, and Mr. Smoker, the mayor and Hart's CEO really need to discuss this and decide whether they want to try and approach CSX or not, what the efficacy of that would be, and that's something I think should be fairly high on everyone's list to at least think about and discuss. And I should just add that, and David Mechanic knows this well, CSX is very, very difficult to deal with. It all occurred in the mayor's office when Pam Iorio was mayor, and so how we would approach CSX is really above my pay grade. It's really something that the mayor and Hart CEO need to meet and talk about.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. I don't think have I asked for a motion?
I'll second the motion, but I would also add, we have got to put some sort of concerted effort into seeing how we can either get that number down or get covered in some other way before next year's premium rolls around. So.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, the motion passes. The resolution passes, which gets us basically to the end of our agenda. Is there anything we need to know about Vector Media sales this month, Mr. Rowland?
No big updates other than what's in the package there attached.
Okay. We have compliance reports. Ms. Stewart, is there anything in them that we need to be particularly aware of?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is there any old business to come before us? Hearing none, is there any new business to come before us? Well, thank you very much. I hope we don't have to do this next month, but it actually is very likely that we will. And so thank you all. I declare this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.